There are big question marks around this Arsenal player. And if I'm being honest, I think there's actually question marks around 2 Arsenal players. And I definitely want to get your guys' thoughts on it. We're also going to be speaking about the Arsenal versus Crystal Palace game. But also why this weekend can be massive for Arsenal. Why I'm so optimistic that this weekend could be a bit of a game changer for Arsenal. Before we get into it though, I just want to ask you very quickly, one quick favour. Just hit like on this video. So Arsenal versus Crystal Palace is tomorrow. Arsenal are away. And I just want to ask you a simple question. What is your score prediction? And if you're able to get it right, like I do in every other score prediction or breakdown, I will flash up on screen in the next video who gets it right, just so you can show everyone how good your football knowledge is. Look, I'm going to give you my score prediction in a minute, but the first point I want to make, there's a question mark around the striking position at Arsenal. And the first one is for this game. Who do you play, Havertz or Gabriel Jesus? Now, the easy answer is Gabriel Jesus. In my opinion, you cannot not play Gabriel Jesus because of what he's doing. He struggled for goal-scoring form for so long. So we had a period where Kai Havertz was the main guy. But when a player's in that kind of form, scoring a hat-trick, yes, it's a cup game. And we have seen Mikel Arteta do this before with Eddie Nketiah. He scored a hat-trick and then he benched him for the next Premier League game. So I am hoping Mikel Arteta allows Gabriel Jesus the chance to build on that performance we saw in the last game. It's against exactly the same team. So in terms of confidence, Gabriel Jesus is exactly where you need him to be. We saw how good those finishes were. And if we can give Gabriel Jesus a chance again tomorrow against Crystal Palace, I don't see why he wouldn't score it. Like I said, there's also another question that I definitely want to get your guys' thoughts on. But there's a game this weekend that could be massively beneficial to Arsenal. And it's not even Arsenal playing, it's Liverpool versus Tottenham. Liverpool are away from home. Now, obviously, Arsenal fans hate Tottenham, so it's hard to go into this game hoping for a Tottenham win. But if this was to be a draw, or maybe even if Tottenham was to win, it wouldn't be the worst result in the world for Arsenal. Of course, it would massively benefit us. I would never go into a game cheering on Tottenham. But I will be watching that game hoping Liverpool drop points for sure. And I don't see why they wouldn't. Liverpool have been in a good run of form. And it seems like Tottenham are in a good run of form now. They had a good win against Manchester United. So hopefully Tottenham can put up a good performance against Liverpool and just maybe start to sow the seed of doubt in Liverpool's mind, because we need them to go through a period of games where they're looking like they might drop points. It's bound to happen at some point. How good was Arsenal last season up until Christmas? People were saying, oh, Arsenal are going to win the league. They're so good. And then the form drops away. You go through a couple of results where it's like you get a draw and then a loss. And then all of a sudden you're thinking, where is the next win going to come from? Liverpool will go through that at some point. And I'm hoping the start of that is this weekend because they've got a massive game. Look, Crystal Palace isn't going to be easy. We still need to make sure we do our job against Crystal Palace. I guess the benefit is, like I said, we've just played them. They played their best team and we played a weakened team. So when we have our first 11 out, you would hope it would be an easier job. Now, we are away from home, so maybe that makes it slightly more difficult. But in terms of team selection, I think Arsenal are still going to be able to put out a strong squad, and we will need to, because Crystal Palace's last 5 results have actually been very, very good. In terms of league position, they are wandering down there in probably a position they don't want to be in. I don't think they should be down there. Based on their past 5 results, look at this. They beat Brighton 3-1 away from home. Brilliant result. They drew 2-2 with Man City. They beat Ipswich away. They drew with Newcastle 1-1. And then they drew with Villa away 2-2. So in terms of past 5 games, this is a team that's on form in the Premier League. So we can't go into this thinking, well, we beat them in the EFL Cup, so it's going to be an easy game. It's still going to be difficult. And that last 5 games shows you that they are able to get draws. They drew with Villa. They drew with Newcastle. They drew with City. So let's not try and act like it's impossible for Arsenal to draw against Crystal Palace. In my opinion, that would be disastrous. This is a game where Arsenal absolutely have to take the maximum amount of points. And I think we will. In terms of team selection, I think it's very simple. You go back to David Raya, jurrien Timber right back. The experiment of Thomas Partey in right back is not working. I don't want to see a makeshift defence. You've got Timber there, play him. You've got Saliba there, play him. Gabriel, play him. And the next question mark is around this Arsenal player, and that is who plays left back. For me, I actually go for Kieron Tierney. It'd be interesting to see how many of you guys agree, but I think we can play Kieron Tierney in a game like this. We've got nothing to lose. If we're going to get rid of him next month anyway, just put him in a game like this to see what he can do. We haven't seen him in the Premier League in such a long period of time that I'm interested to see how it would work because he would need to stay back more. We know he's a flyer down the left-hand side who puts in crosses, but if you've got Jurrien Timber pushing into midfield from right back, there will be times where Kieron Tierney will be asked to sit. There will be times where he will go forward and Jurrien Timber would have to drop back in to make that free at the back. But it would be interesting to see what Kieron Tierney can offer this side, because at times, Arsenal can be accused of just, with their wing play, at times just overplaying it. And Kieron Tierney does offer that something different. Beat your man, get to the touchline, whip the ball in for the centre forward. Now, if it's Gabriel Jesus up there, if we're being honest, Gabriel Jesus probably isn't the strongest in the air, but it's still nice to have that option. Even if he doesn't whip a high one, even if he flashes the ball toward the back post, we can have Bukayo Saka running in and gate crashing that back post, which is something we're seeing more and more. So I would be interested to see how this Arsenal team plays again with Kieron Tierney in there, but with Arsenal's strongest back line, with next to Gabriel, Saliba and Timber. We saw him in the last game, but it was with Thomas Partey, Kivior, who struggled, Timber, right centre-back, which we haven't seen. So I would like to see Kieron Tierney given some minutes at left-back with a full-strength defence. Let me know your guys' thoughts on that. So I'd go Timber, and then Thomas Partey, Declan Rice, Odegaard, Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Jesus, and for me, it's either Trossard or Martinelli. It's probably a toss-up. For me, I'd probably go Martinelli in this game, but I understand why people would go Trossard. But let me know your team selections. I think everyone will have a difference of opinion. Some people won't want Tierney. Some people will want Trossard. Some people may even want Havertz. Some people may still want to see Ethan Nwaneri in there. So let me know what would be your team selection for the Arsenal versus Crystal Palace game. In terms of a score prediction, I'm going to go with a 3-0 win. I think Arsenal can keep a clean sheet. I think recently, or certainly in the last game and maybe a couple before that, we've shown we can score goals. As long as that trend continues, we're going to have Odegaard back in the team, Bukayo Saka back in the team. I don't see why Arsenal can't go away from home and score 3 goals and keep a clean sheet. Let me know your score prediction. The only other interesting news is that Arsenal were obviously into the semi-final of the Carabao Cup. We've been drawn against Newcastle, which in my opinion may even be not the easiest tie, but the tie that you look at and think that's most winnable. If Arsenal got given Liverpool or Tottenham, I would still go into that game thinking, of course, Arsenal can win this game. But against Newcastle, they've not been as strong this season. We've seen that it's possible to drop points against Newcastle or lose or draw against Newcastle because they're a good team. They've had some good results this season. But I would be looking at that game and saying Arsenal have got a real good chance here to go into the Carabao Cup final. And then you might have a North London derby final. Then you might have Arsenal versus Liverpool, the 2 best teams in the country in the Carabao Cup final. Either way, it's going to be a massive final. Whether we play Tottenham or Liverpool, it is going to be a huge Carabao Cup final if we do the business and get through to the next round. Like I said, I've already spoke about Tottenham versus Liverpool. That is a game I'm looking at and thinking Liverpool can drop points in terms of the Premier League race. Man City are playing Aston Villa away from home. We know how poor Man City have been this season. Villa Park couldn't come at a worse time for Man City. What have they won? 1 game in the last 12, and now they got to go away from home against Aston Villa, a team who are very, very well coached, well organised, good personnel. I'm hoping Man City drop points again, if I'm being honest. I can see it happening. Liverpool and Man City to drop points this weekend. But that means we just need Arsenal to win. How many times have we seen it where Liverpool are dropping points and then Man City drop points and you think, yes, and then Arsenal draw against Everton and you're thinking, what is going on? Hopefully, the 2 teams drop points and Arsenal can get a win this weekend. Let me know your thoughts on everything you've heard in this video. Let me know your thoughts about the game, your score prediction, your team selection. Thanks so much to everyone for watching and listening. Before you go, like I said, just do me a quick favor very quickly. Hit like and subscribe, and I'll speak to you all in tomorrow's video. Gooners, have a good day.